万圣帝君伏魔真经。团考人言测道心，真心一点观不尽。圣贤之门正道通，了脱生死从此门。一往将相平和论，功过对错成绩深。君临天下尘世间，上善法恶见世人。虎虎相龙家邦正，威灵显赫三界经。莫高一丈何足惧，道高一尺化太平。真水真火系身上，浩然重色在其中。经年累月修精进，忠孝节义表万民。
Why is the filter not working? Why is the filter not working? What's my beard filtered? Oh boy. Don't look, chat. Don't look. It got a little bit too long, a little bit too gruffy. And when that happens, I can't bring it back to its original form. And so, I gotta shave it all off and start over again. That is why I've got me the, naked face. Jump scared by Chinese chanting. Good! It's supposed to wake you up. Banishes your demons. I'm getting so many of those annoying phone calls. One second, chats. Of course, right at the last minute, something had to pop up. Amazon drivers being Amazon drivers. Some of my stuff has been coming in. What is this? Download complete. Oh, yeah. Where Wooden's Meat finally finished downloading. Gate opening now. Okay, that should take care of that. Glad everyone got jump scared by the Chinese chanting. That was a, I don't know if it was a mantra or what you call it, but based around Guan Yu, or Guan Di as he's called when he's deified. Entered game, obviously I can't enter the game yet. Maybe we'll do that on stream, we'll see. Thank you all who are joining us, going to be joining us, or watching the VOD. I am everyone's favorite Teaman, now slightly naked. It's really weird seeing me without the facial hair. But it is what it is. Drinking myself some jasmine green tea. This is not one of the ones I sell. This one is a special rare blend that I do not sell. It's purely for me. It's gonna stay that way. It's my own little secret. I'm interested in Jianjia. Is that related to Wuxia? Yeah, they're all intermingled. Let me see which one Jianjia was. Jianjia translates to immortal heroes. Chinese fantasy genre focused on immortal cultivators, mythical beings, and magical themes drawn from Chinese mythology. Yeah. They're... it's kind of weird that they separate them in the way that they do. But I can kind of understand. This one is more... This one's more godly, Jianjia. But they all blend in together, and so what I talk about today will bleed into that. Because it's all from the same source. It actually helps out a lot. This was the comment for those who were wondering. And the music we got playing in the background is also from Where the Winds Meets. Everything is nice, calm, peaceful. Got my incense going, got my tea. Everything is all set. Very much looking forward to this Friday. With this game, I played both of the betas. The first time around, it was a case of, I don't know anything about this game. I'm just jumping in because it looks interesting. Let's find out. And it was an experience. I had a lot more fun the second time around because the first beta was in May. And May was when I had my biggest month ever. And so I was only able to play a couple of hours in the first beta, but the second one I was able to play a lot more. As a heads up, to those who have not played the game yet, who have not played the beta, when you jump in, you will probably be a bit overwhelmed. Because there is a lot of stuff just thrown at you at once. Double checking more stuff. Seeing what's going on with the driver. You better have arrived. Okay. I'm gonna be very annoyed if this one for some reason can't get into the gate. There's a lot of stuff going on. You're gonna be greatly overwhelmed. Just give it time and you will eventually figure it all out. This is not a game where you try and go for the end. Greetings, Thumb Ugly. Thank you for joining us. This is not a game where you go towards the end. This is a game where you stop, you sit back, and you enjoy the experience. I talked about this, I think I talked about it on the live stream, but maybe it was just on Twitter, where a lot of games nowadays, they lack a certain feeling, which they had in WoW, World of Warcraft. Where, back then, when you entered a town, the town felt like it was just a town. And it was your job to walk around and figure out what was going on. Is the music a bit loud? Let me turn this down a little bit. I feel like it's a bit loud. It was your job to figure out what's going on, where the stores were, etc. Where nowadays, everything feels custom tailored for you to just have a single path exactly where you're supposed to go. And I am not a fan of that. I'm watching my cat there, causing trouble. Squeaky. Whatever. Everything just feels way too custom tailor-made for you. And you can't lose yourself in the game because it feels like the game is just guiding you on where to go. And Where Mince Meat does not have that problem. It feels like the world just exists. And with it just existing, I am jumping into it. I was reading a Chinese web novel a while back. I think called Duo Luo? I can't call it. I think it was a Wuxia story. We'll talk about what Wuxia is. Funny thing, you're all very familiar with Wuxia already. You just don't know it yet. And I did not realize this until somebody else pointed out to me a couple of months ago. In fact, let's just jump into that. You are all familiar with Wuxia. What I mean by that? Share screen is this. That's enough. Copyright is a thing. Let's go back to that. And get out of here. Why do you look 20 years younger? Because my beard filter fell off. And now people know I'm a 15-year-old boy. But yeah, Dragon Ball actually is a Wuxia story. And thanks to that, I can use that to describe it in a very simple way. Not a very simple way, I'm gonna scratch that completely. But we will get into Taoist cosmology, Chinese cosmology, and how it all blends together. Right for destiny pickings. No destiny, no! I'm actually 36. Had heard about the game prior and ignored it, but I saw you ranting about, so looked it up. Looks interesting. It is interesting, and it's... I had not felt like this. Oh, you guys can kind of see, if you look underneath my armpit, you can see little baby Wukong probably causing trouble. Maybe I'll bring him over here to say hi. Wukong! Come here, buddy. Come here. Oopsie daisy. Ugh. Look! Cat! Give me money! Ah, okay. You don't want to be picked up. Alright. So yeah, using Dragon Ball, let's get the music back. Using Dragon Ball, trying to explain Wuxia in a way that you guys can understand. If you remember in Dragon Ball, The whole thing around it, especially in the beginning, is that shit just happened and you just went with it. You accepted it. There's talking dinosaurs? Okay, I get it. The main character can be shot in the head, but he's just fine? Okay. People can make multiple bodies of themselves, shoot laser beams, they can fly, they can turn you into a carrot. The power pole can extend almost infinitely, at least until it gets to the moon. Well, you jump off just to climb back on me. All of these are aspects of Wuxia. So I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to try and keep it as simple as I possibly can. If anybody gets lost, just let me know, and I'll try and explain more. You will not understand all of Chinese cosmology from just this explanation. But it's a decent enough start to make you understand the concepts of how Wuxia works and why everyone just kind of accepts that everyone can do these things. I have two different graphs. I'll go with that one first. Oh, way too many buttons, way too many things. Share! Screen! The hell? No, not this one. That one. Hi! Wukong is on the attack. Share. Make sure you guys can see it. I'll make it bigger. Alright. We're gonna be using this graph real quick. Explaining a little bit about the concept of Chinese cosmology and how it relates to Wuxia. So this right here, you guys can't see it, but do I have a way I can draw on this? Can you guys see my mouse on the screen? If you guys can see my mouse, that'll make it much easier, but I don't know if you can. Let me see if you can. I'll go here, I'll go here. Yes, you can see the mouse. Fantastic. Okay, come back here. Okay. So this right here, they're saying Wu Chi, but it's more like Wu Ji. The great void where everything is one. So this is... Oh wait, no, I'm saying this wrong. So we have this little circle here, but above that... You know what? Hold on a second. No! I have so many things open right now. Oh, this is better. Share this tab instead. I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth. Just deal with it. Okay. So this empty little void right here, the Wu Ji, the unknowable, the supreme mystery. The very first thing it says in the Tao Te Ching, the Tao that can be explained is not the eternal Tao. This is the realm where we do not have, as living creatures, the capability of comprehending what this is. This is the Tao, but it is beyond our understanding because it's no thing. It's not nothing. Nothing implies a something. A nothing is a lack of a something. And that does not exist yet.
Your website sucks last time I checked.
I'm talking about other things, Pippa! Holy crap! Leave me alone! But thank you, Thumb Ugly. I highly appreciate it. And if you guys want to donate as well, either this or buying some tea or whatever, again, highly appreciated. Need to help as much as I can. It's been a month. I'm simultaneously making a lot of money, but I'm having no money saved up because I'm buying all the stuff I need to fulfill the orders. Alright, back to the plot. So it's not nothing because nothing implies something. And this is before there was a before. This was before there could be a nothing. Does it make sense? It shouldn't, because we cannot explain it, because it is before the concept of explanation. It's too much. That's why it's the supreme mystery, the unknowable. It's too much. Eventually, you can't even use the word eventually because that implies time, and time doesn't exist yet, but for the sake of argument, eventually, we move on to the second one. The Tai Yi, the Great Oneness. Central Sun, pure love, unity, the cosmic egg, you hear that a lot from other places. the original essence, breath, spirit, the Yuan Jing, Qi, Shen, in a quiet state. It doesn't make sense, but the idea of it does. That's a good way of putting it. So this is when existence became a thing. Another saying from Tao Te Ching and many other things is, from the Tao we get the 1, from the 1 we get the 2, from the 2 we get the 3, and from the 3 we get the 10,000 things. 10,000 is not a specific number, it's just a general, you know, it's like how we say a million. There's a million of them. It's a vast number. So we get the 1. But the way things work in Chinese cosmology, specifically Taoism and probably the other ones, is that everything exists as a comparison to something else. So we know there's a left only because there is a right. The left differentiates itself from the right. The up differentiates from the down. And on and on. That is how we get these things. So we got the 1, but because we have a 1, there needs to be the concept of something that is not the 1. So there needs to be something beyond the 1. So there's the 1 and then the 2. The yin and the yang. Huangji, the supreme tipping point is called this when it separates. The first awareness of polarity. Pressure builds within the cosmic egg. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into all of that stuff. You know, just roll with it for now, we'll get into it. So we got the yin and the yang. And this does not explain it. Do any of my graphs actually go into this concept? Hold on, I might have to just freestyle this. Damn it, okay, I got a freestyle. Okay, so. Yes, you're a kitten, stop it. Alright. So we have the yin and the yang, which are now together. But again, this is the beginning of existence. And in cosmology, it's called the pre-celestial time. And that will matter a little bit going forward. So what happens is this energy, Qi, let's call it that, because that is the key word. That is the word of the day, folks. Qi. Spelled Q-I in this case. You might know from Japan as Ki. Ki is also the stuff that the Dragon Ball fighters always shoot. And the stuff that surrounds them when they power up. That is Ki, that is Chi, that is all the same thing, but not the same thing. It's, well, I'll try and explain. So as it's doing this, it's separating itself. It's differentiating left, right, up, down. It's giving itself that type of identity. And so it starts to spread. Some of the Chi floats up, becomes light, lighter and lighter and lighter. It becomes the white color we know as Yang. And the bottom goes down, 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 becomes denser and denser and denser, and forms what we know as reality, matter. It forms the Earth, it forms the stars, it forms even the space, technically, I believe. It's, again, it's complicated. But now we have the two energies, the two Qi, the Yang Qi, the Yin Qi. They're right here. But they still come from the same source. So they're separate, but even though they're separate, they're still actually one. And they don't just stay like this, they fluctuate. They switch around. They do all of that fun stuff. Do you want to get down? Ah! Yes, you do want to get down. Okay, okay. Hold on. Don't fight me. You're the one who wants to get down. Ah! There. Vicious kitten. So they're separate, but they're not. And it's one of those things where you eventually, if you study this stuff, you'll get it. But you can't explain it in a way that will make you get it. It's an experience thing. Alright, so going back to one of these, scrolling up. There we go. Alright, so now we got these three. On the left, we have the white Ta Yang, the Great Yang, otherwise it can come in different names. The Great Yang, the Elder Yang, Big Yang. But it's like, it's the fullness of Yang. So far... Back here. So far the way of thinking is appealing to me. Excellent. I'm trying my best to explain it. I'm not a Taoist priest. At least not officially. But no, I'm not a Taoist priest, so... I'm not... I'm not, by my definition, qualified to talk about this stuff. Is how I will put it. I still got more reading to do, more studies to do. This is not as elegant as I would like it, but I think I'm doing a good enough job just for this. Now, we like to represent this great big yang with the line. Not the 3 lines, not yet. Just one full straight line to represent the yang. Then we got the yin. The great yin. And, can I show it on this one? Oh, yes, I can. Switching tabs. So, yeah, there we go. So, the Tai Chi, or Tai Chi, harmony. We have the Yang, which is the one solid line. The Yin, which is the one broken line. Little line in the middle. And that's how we get these weird little shapes that you might have seen here and there and everywhere else. Here we got the greater Yang, the lesser Yang, the greater Yin, the lesser Yin. So, the greater Yang... You know, it's got the 2 Yangs. It's greater. You feel it. The lesser Yang. It's Yang at the bottom, but also Yin at the top. Same thing with here. The greater Yin, it's got the 2 things. The lesser, the other things. It's because it's always changing, always flowing. It goes from the 2, and then you get the solid. Then you get the other version of the solid, inverted. Then you get full solid. And then those go even deeper in terms of the cycle. That's how we get the trigrams for this stuff. We got the heaven, lake, fire, thunder, wind, water, mountain, earth. You're gonna... It's not relevant to this conversation, but you're gonna be seeing this stuff a lot in the game. Because it's the basis of pretty much anything that goes into this stuff. You know, this entire concept of the Tao, the yin and the yang, the yin and yang separating... Then becoming the trigrams, that becomes the 64 hexagrams. And then this stuff. Alright, this is perfect. Let me see if this guy... No, this one also. Do I need to go that deep? I do not need to go that deep. Alright. So with that, going backwards. Again, this is Chi. This is made up of chi, of different types of chi. In fact, going here, Shader Stabbin's Ted. So going even deeper, we get the 5 elements. Because of the way it gets together. Again, too much detail trying to explain this stuff. The 5 elements especially, it's a concept where looking at it just at face value looks really dumb. It does, I'm sorry. It's one of the reasons I spent years not looking at it. But once you do, it starts to make sense. First you go, okay, this little bit makes sense, but this is still weird. I still have a lot of questions. And you just wonder, and eventually a little bit more makes sense, and by the end of it, you're just amazed at how this entire thing just explains so much. That's the journey you're gonna go with. So we have wood. Wood makes fire. Fire makes the earth. Earth makes metal. Metal makes water. This is the most confusing one for people, and I don't blame you. And water makes wood to complete the cycle. Then it gets even deeper. You separate them more. We got the animals. Got later heaven, the earthly branches, connected with the organs, blah blah blah. Not important. Okay, no, it's not important for the conversation we're having now. I'm keeping it simple. So, with that, you know, the yin and the yang are comprised of chi. And something I didn't talk about is I talked about how it's separated. So we got the chi of heaven, we have the chi of earth, but we also have in here the chi of man. Heaven, earth, man. The 3 treasures of Taoism. That was the 3 treasures, right? There's so many 3s, I'm pretty sure it was the 3 treasures. It's so hard to keep track. I no longer go by names. I just go by the feeling of what they're saying. And it actually works, but that's not helpful for this case. So man is the 3rd element of all this. And hey, wood man. Composed of this chi. So think of it as man is over here. Let me go a little bit further behind. So man is over here. If we collect enough yang chi, we go all the way up. And we can basically dissolve into nothingness and go back into the Tao. Or we can go down to the yin chi and become so solid that we just actually again blend into everything and go back to the Tao. And so with that, we don't have the capability of going that far. But just because we don't have the capability of becoming pure yang or pure yin, doesn't mean we can't move a little bit up or a little bit down. And use those energies in the ways that we manipulate them to do the fun stuff that we see in Wuxia. So the reason they're able to do the likeness stuff is because they take in more yang energy, yang chi, and it causes them to just lighten up a little bit. Allows them to run, allows them to fly. Does all that fun stuff. When they're practicing stuff like Iron Shirt Kung Fu, where they can just take the hits from everyone, that's using the yin energy. When they put their feet into the ground and root themselves so they can't move when they're fighting, again, they're lowering the energy and using the yang energy. And the interplay between those two is how they were able to do all of this stuff. And it's the flow. So when I kick... Go back here. Let me pull something else up real quick. Taoism 5 elements. Okay. Images. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Pull this up. Bam. Open image in new tab. And share this tab. Let me show you guys can see it. You cannot see it. Now you can see it. Let's go full screen it. So you see in the top it says the 5 elements. The cycles of generation and control. I also call it the 5 elements, but that's just because I try and get people to understand what I'm talking about. We all know the Western 5 elements, but the Eastern, it's not 5 elements, it's 5 phases. So we have the phase of water, goes into the phase of wood, goes into the phase of fire, and on and on. And then that's if it goes this way. It can also go a different way. So here, wood can destroy the earth, water destroys fire, fire destroys or melts metal, and things along those lines. Doing stuff in between these phases is how, in Wuxia, they are able to do the fun stuff. So maybe they want to not glide across the water, but just jump really high real quick and not spend much energy. So what they might do, using these terms, this is a little bit awkward, but so be it. They take some of the yang energy where they go down, 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 and then they do something with wood or fire where they bring it up in the cycle to the yin energy goes up to the yang. And it gives them a burst of lightness. Something along those lines. I kind of lost it there, but so be it. I'm doing this on the fly. And so that is how they're able to work with the stuff and manipulate it into their liking. So on one hand, technically, everyone can do everything else. But in order to really get these things, you need to practice. Or as we Taoists call it, cultivation. Which you will hear that word a lot. Cultivation. It's training. You're training. It's kung fu. Every single thing you do is built around making you better, getting you aligned with these energies. And energies we haven't even really spoken about. So talking about these energies with the yin and the yang and the chi, we're talking about just the post-celestial chi. There's also pre-celestial, which is a little bit more divine, let's say. I think that's a good way of putting it for you guys to describe. And there is where the Jianjia, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, the immortal heroes. The Chinese fantasy based on immortal cultivators, mythical beings, and magical themes down from Chinese mythology. They probably use more of the pre-celestial energy when they do this stuff. And so that is a quick little too long didn't read of the energies that you will be using, how and why and all that stuff. Any questions? Throw it out into the comments and I will try my best to answer anything people have to say. Cultivation in the manhwas are super coil or coal. Did you mean cool? Was that just a typo? Yeah, actually, if you guys didn't know, South Korean flag. Let's go here, share this tab instead, make sure you guys can see it. Bam. If you guys look at the flag of South Korea, these are the, not the stems and branches. You know, this is the lines that represent yang and yin. It's part of the Korean flag. And this is their version of the yin-yang. I don't know how South Korea differs from China in regards to all this stuff, but I know that I looked it up before, South Korea's system, and it didn't mesh well with me. So I don't really touch it. South Korea flag. Taiguki. I don't know how to say that. So it's a white background, brown blue, Taiguk circle in the center, and 4 black, white, just to call it, black trigrams. 1 in each corner. Blah blah blah, but yeah. So this stuff is heavily integrated into Chinese culture. Or at least old Chinese culture. Now what we have is it's an embarrassment, I guess you can say. I'm definitely not a fan. Who is trying to contact me? Fun fact, the word qi in Chinese means breath, which why most Wuxia go heavily into breathing techniques to cultivate. Yes, you can't do it without it. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a small break from that. From us talking about the chi and stuff. Instead, we're gonna watch a video. Or rather, you guys are gonna watch a video. I already watched it. Because I want to double check and make sure that the Amazon guy didn't just throw my freaking package into the garbage or something. So you're gonna watch a video real quick for about 5 minutes. You're not gonna watch the whole thing. I really like this video because I found it to be incredibly poetic for what it was saying. So, enjoy.
In every age, players dream of a world that feels alive. A world that doesn't just ask you to conquer it, but to live in it. For 2 decades, we've chased that promise through countless realms. Some were worlds of war, others worlds without end. But beneath the banner, and behind the expansions, the same cold truth always waited. The moment a world becomes efficient, it stops being alive. The magic of this genre was never in the systems. It was in the silence between them. That feeling of standing still, while the world kept breathing. And for a long time, that silence was gone. Until a wind started to blow from the east. A game that speaks in poetry, but moves with purpose. A world that looks painted, but feels lived in. A story not about escape, but about return. Where winds meet. It doesn't chase innovation. It restores meaning. It is not the next MMO. It is, perhaps, the first one that truly remembers why we ever played them in the first place. This is 9 Reasons Why Where Winds Meet might just be the first true rebirth of the MMO dream. Before you even move, the world makes a promise. A promise whispered through mist, light, and motion. Because here, the world doesn't just render, it breathes. Mountains fade into fog. Lanterns drift like spirits through the rain. The wind carries petals, smoke, and memory, all in the same breath. And when the storm breaks, you don't just see it, you feel it. Every drop, every shadow, every reflection exists for a reason. Not to impress you, but to remind you that beauty was always the language games forgot how to speak. This isn't realism, it's reverence. Each frame feels brushed, painted, not programmed. Bright, but never loud. Alive, but never cluttered. It looks like a memory, one you can walk inside. Because here, beauty isn't decoration, it's design. Every MMO promises scale. This one remembers. Scale means nothing without soul.
Ooh. And I am back. They delivered. I'm gonna post it in the comments. Not in the comments, in the or in the live chat. If anybody wants to finish watching that. Very poetic video. I love it. Hey, get back here. But yep, my thing was delivered. It's an item I use, or I'm going to use to properly mix and sift through all of the ingredients for the powdered drinks. I was hoping to get everything up by Friday, but some things are not going to arrive until Monday. Maybe even Tuesday, depending on how long they decide to take. But yeah. So yeah, chat, that is Chinese cosmology broken down into a very simple way. And there's, again, a lot more elements to it. It becomes a lot more complicated, but it does a thing where it becomes complicated and more complicated and more complicated. It becomes so complicated that eventually it just becomes simple. And you just kind of get it in the simplest of ways. But first you gotta go through all of this overcomplicated bullshit. There's a saying from one of the sects. When you first begin your training, the mountains are mountains and the rivers are rivers. They are what they are. And then, in the middle of your training, there are no mountains, there are no rivers. It's all just this blend of the chi that's always moving and the yin and the yang, and everything could become something else, and all this other complicated non-skullfuckery. And then, at the end of your training, the mountains are mountains, and the rivers are rivers. Which is why it's bad to go halfway with this training stuff. You go all the way, you go none of the way. Which is why a lot of people, they make their disciples go through a lot of bullshit before they teach them anything. Because if you're not dedicated, there's no point in wasting time with you. There's a book which I picked up now. It's a Wuxia book. I was somewhat interested in it. And someone described to me a funny little scene in it. Where there was a martial arts master who had to run away from civilization and lived in seclusion. And so what he did to keep his skills sharp, he taught one of his hands a specific style of kung fu. Then he taught his other hand a different style of kung fu. So, let's say this hand does crane style, this hand does snake. Then what he did to keep himself fresh is he made the two styles of his hands fight each other. And eventually he gained a disciple, and he taught this technique to his disciple. And they had the nice big fight at the end of the training, where instead of it being a 1-on-1, it was technically a 2-on-2, because they both were using two different styles of kung fu with each hand, fighting the other person. And it's that type of just over-the-top bullshit that I love. And so I really want to beat that scene. Yeah, I think I did an okay job explaining the cosmology behind it, giving an idea of why they're able to do the stuff that they do, and why they're able to just roll with it. There's a lot of techniques that require a lot of training to really master. Mastering the flow of how the chi goes through your body. Would that possibly be a full-way free-for-all? I mean, it could. If one hand was trying to beat the other three. That could be a four-way. So imagine you see just a one-on-one fight, but someone tells you it's actually just a four-way free-for-all. That's just the type of over-the-top bullshit that can happen in Wuxia. And you accept it because it's just fun. So yeah, something like, let's say, going invisible requires a proper blending and mixing of your chi and using the yin and the yang and messing around with that. So eventually you figured out how to use it to go invisible. But that took a long time. Time you could have been spent learning something else. And that is why some people know some techniques, but others do not. Because you can't just do everything willy-nilly. I mean, there's some overlap. I mean, if you learn how to fly, jumping across the water, you know, that's a bit of a step down. And so that's why some techniques are a little bit more universal. If that makes sense. And that is why certain things in Dragon Ball that happen in Dragon Ball Super actually do make sense. But a lot of people complain because they don't understand how the systems work. Like when Goku was just messing around with some thugs in Dragon Ball Super, and someone shot him, and the bullet actually ended up grazing him and doing some damage. He ended up bleeding a little bit. The reason why is that he lowered his ki too much. He lost focus way too much. And so using the ki to block the bullet, he wasn't able to that time. Because he was just out of practice. That's all there is to it. So let's see real quick. I don't know, I probably can't show it. So I downloaded the game, comes out in 2 days. If I press enter game, what happens? You guys can't see it. Can I share it in a way that you can? Let's see if I can. wwm.exe. I'm gonna go here. Share screen. Specifically a window. There we go. I'm gonna move this here. Maximize so we can all take a look at the game. By the way, in Kung Fu there is a style called Bagua Zhang, which literally means punch of the 8 trigrams. Preparing shaders, blah blah blah. Let's see what the thing looks like. NetEase Games login. I'm not showing you any of that. Close that. Cross progression account linking. Okay, I will look at all of this later. Okay. Let's go back. Bam. I'm already on screen. I'll show myself again. So yeah, there we go, chat. The game is ready. There is an element of... Let's go with peace, I guess. Even in the combat. There's an element of... Just, you feel at home in this game when I was playing it. You just feel that things exist and you can just enjoy them. It was not made for you, it just is. And you get to play in a place that just is. And something that's been missing for a long, long time in video games. Going through it, I have not felt this way about a video game since when I played OG WoW. Back in... what was it, 2005? 6? It was before Burning Crusade came out. So it was the OG WoW before any of the, not the DLC, the expansions. I remember, because I knew nothing about the game when I was playing it. I remember the first time I went into a neutral zone. I think it was the, what was the name of the forest all the way on the bottom of the map? World of Warcraft, classic map. Stranglethorn Vale. When I first went there, and I went to Booty Bay. That was my first experience with a city that was neutral. Where it was not based around Horde or Alliance. And I just thought that was just... oh, that was something. Made me feel things. I'm just going through the map now and seeing all this stuff again. Iron Forge, the wetlands. Oh man. Yeah, it's been a while since I felt like this about a game. Stranglethorn Vale. What was the name of the other one on the other side? The Ungoro Crater, Tanaris Desert, fucking bugs, and what was all this? Silithus. Oh gee, WoW was so fun, so good. I get to experience that now as an adult. For those unaware, I will be making my own guild. I demand all of you join and play with me. Or else, I will find out if you don't. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be like my second life. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to play with all the work I gotta do, but... yeah, it's gonna be a real intense couple of months now. I mean, I'm gonna be going non-stop for the next... 1, 2, 3... come on, you. Bam. 2, 4, 5... 5.5 weeks. 5.5 weeks I'm gonna be going almost non-stop. Making the odors, finishing up the powdered drinks. Oh yeah, I already drink mine. Just doing everything I can. It's a lot of work for one man. It's an unreasonable amount of work. Okay. Next, I'm gonna check out the solo aspect. Might poke the social side. That's what most people are gonna do. Might even be what I do. I don't know. We'll see. Because, you know, a game has got me hooked when I want to try the social aspects of the game. That is something which doesn't really happen with me. And so, yeah. That pretty much covers all I want to talk about. A little under an hour. We actually kept it within a reasonable amount of time. Thanks again to Mr. Thumb Ugly, who gave a nice little super chat earlier on. I forgot to show my stuff. Well, I would have to end the stream, so I'll show my stuff. Get out of here, get out of here. Don't need you up, don't need you up. Oh, so many things. Wait, chat, wait for the shilling. Share this tab, you guys cannot see it. Uh-oh. Oh, that's show and stream. Alright, website, to Dragon's Pleasure. Powder Drink Beta Pre-orders. I get the ingredients coming in now. We got 5 flavors. These are not the official names. I'll rename them when I actually make it official. Got the blueberry vanilla. Got some root beer, mint, strawberry, cherry lime. Right now, the two I'm having the most trouble with is strawberry and cherry lime because they are really subtle. But I'm trying to make them pop in a way that's very noticeable. Blueberry vanilla, root beer, and the mints, I got it down. Like, I'm set with those. But, yeah, back to that. Photos coming soon because I don't have any photos yet. And so with all of that, thank you all who have joined us. And stop the music now. All who are watching the VOD. And we'll see you maybe next week. Hopefully next week. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. A fun experience. Finish at a good time. And go read that book now. Alright. Farewell, everybody.